Hi, everybody. How are you? This is Ryan with Cattler Conversations, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of Cattler Conversations. Today, a very special guest. We have Ignacio Albornoz, CEO and co-founder of Cattler. We wanted to, really start this year off with talking with Ignacio. Last year, we talked a lot of vets, nutritionists, current members. This year, we wanted to kind of kick it off speaking, directly with Ignacio, getting his ideas of what Keller is all about, what the next steps are, but also everybody getting to know him a little bit more and kind of see the face of Cattler. So Ignacio, welcome to Cattler Conversations.
Hey Ryan, thank you very much. Thank you for having me today. And yeah, I'm happy to be here and just to share a little bit of what we're doing with everybody listening.
Excellent. So, I mean, you and I talk a lot every single day, multiple times a day. So the idea now is to, everybody else to see a different side of you. So, as we start with our first side, first kind of couple of questions is, tell us a little bit of who you are, what you are, where you're from, and how you got started in this industry that we all are very passionate about.
Yeah, so thank you for the question. So my professional background is in economics. I'm from Argentina originally. I have from my family. I have a farm background. We've done a lot of cattle backgrounding and cow calf and even a little bit of finishing in the eastern part of Argentina for a good number of years in a province called Entre Rios. And we also have, my family has some olive groves. So I'm very related to the farming ecosystem from very early in my life and also over the years. In economics, I worked also like studying and then doing studies and then also working with farmers in Argentina. And then I spent a number of years in living in Brazil, in Chile, in Colombia, working with farmers as well. So yeah, it's a little bit of everything. But this is a place where I feel very comfortable with.
Nice. And you know, diving right deeply into Cattler and everything that it entails. What was the driving factor towards creating Cattler? I know that just to give a little background, you started to run some tests back at the family farm and kind of how did that take you into what Cattler is today?
Yeah, so I was always like, aside from my interest in the farming and the cattle industry, I was always very keen on the technology. In particular digital technology. And when I was back from Brazil, I lived some years there. I went back to the farm and I began to think, hey, how we can apply some, because for me, I wasn't living there. So I had to travel back and forth, and it was a little bit of difficulty to get like grasp information like in a real time basis or accurately. So I began to do some experiments focused on the weight, animal weight, and just doing some made up scale in from the water trough, and just to get like live feed from that. And that's how I started doing some experiments with some colleagues, and then at some point we noticed that problem was okay, but at the same time we were focusing on a like too small of a problem, and we began noticing that all the farms by that time we were working with in Argentina were like we're thinking that that was cool, but that was not the big picture. The big picture was something that was more evident and related to their daily business, which was like, um, I cannot put together all the pieces of information of my own farm all in one place, and we always had assumed that that was solved, and that was not the case. And then when I came here to live in the US, we noticed that. like it was pretty much the same in the sense that, of course, there was already an existing software industry for this industry, but it was very fragmented. And if you look at this as a puzzle, like everybody had like a piece of the puzzle, or they had it for just a part of the farms, but nobody had it solved with the best possible technology or available technology all at once. So that was a little bit of the beginning of Cattler.
Nice. And so when you began this whole, creation of what Cattler is today, you started seeing these different, situations that had no connection between them, and just trying to figure out the puzzles. And so what was kind of your first stepping stone in this creation? What was the first side of what you're trying to put together? And what were the first couple of years of putting Cattler together for you?
So it was part of that. It was trying to abandon the things that we were doing because we were doing like some work with sensors and automation for the on the at the processing barn, and because of that we had some experience with like talking with other different devices from other brands for the scale heads and for the EADs. So it was part of that was um, trying to solve all those little situations in a way that was very like nimble or seamless for the very operational aspects of that. And we started first at the shoot, and then we noticed that we had to pick a battle, and the battle was like going to solve the feeding part of the feedlot segment, which is naturally the segment that of the industry that like acquires technology more organically, not more naturally. Things happen every day. And then because we were also working with those all different customers, they were already giving us a lot of insight on what they thought that this should be. So it was like the beginning was trying to come to something that was good. It was good enough as a product on itself. That was um, good, like simple enough
Mhm.
as our like future competitors, but at the same time that was able to grow. And there were some decisions that we had to make very early on what was the infrastructure that we were going to build this, and I think that we made a couple of good decisions there, but at the same time, from a user perspective, from like interacting with all the farmers, we just began a constant exercise of showing something, we don't like it, we go back again, we like it a little bit more, but it's missing this or missing that. So it all became a constant exercise of building and rebuilding and being able to digest all the different needs at the beginning in two different countries which were US and Argentina. In US it was Nebraska and Minnesota, and in Argentina it was mainly Entre Rios. So just trying to make sense of all the information that we were gathering and trying to come up with something that was able to cover most of those decisions, especially in the feeding part. So that was like from 2020, end of 2020 to halfway through 2022. It was all this constant effort and building and building and building and building. Because at the beginning, of course, we began to be compared with some of our competitors, and at the beginning we were never enough, and there was something that was like we had to have and we didn't have. So it took a lot of patience and um, continued effort to make sense of all that information and just to gain the first members up until we felt we had something ready to at least good enough to launch.
Right. Excellent. And so if you're bringing it over to, now 2025 March, and the road that that we've been on, what have you seen as kind of some of the challenges across this road, but more importantly, you know, what's coming down the pipeline for the rest of this year at Cattler? And kind of how do you leverage, the challenges, the day-to-day to having that long scope for the rest of the year, basically.
So I think from 2022 to where we are now, I feel uh, like we rebuilt the app like 10 times in the sense that um, we have been constantly in like that thing that I thought that would be like just minor added improvements. It just became like a constant exercise. And at the beginning it was because, as I said, we were never enough. But then within time we began to notice that nobody were uh, like updating the app and improving the app as fast as we were doing. And that became an edge on itself where people would see that we were really listening, and people from different states in the US began to reach out to us, and then people from different countries began to reach out to us, and every time we got into some new area we got new requirements, and we noticed that we were very reasonably good to adapt to those requirements. Um, so I, we have grown a lot, like not only in the amount of members. We've ended the year in 2022 with, I think, about only 30 members paying in between Argentina and the US. That went to like I think 150 in 2023, and we are now like overpassing 400 in 2024. We're getting to 20 to 400, and now we went from 2 countries to 7 countries, and that came with a lot of effort on adapting. And what 2024 it was incredible because we entered into agreements with some of the global players in animal health, and we integrated different systems that are third party. We have almost every device on the scale head and EAD arena. So we did a lot of things when we think just 2 minutes to think about, and we really feel that we just start getting started. Um, so what we could expect for this year, which is already happening. We're in March, and it's we are putting an effort on, of course, always uh, becoming more comprehensive, like in the range of things that a farmer can do, like a feeder can do, but not only the feeders, but the grow yards, some of these cow-calf operations. We are supporting customers that are in very different situations within the US, in Canada, or in Bolivia, or in Argentina. We have face different challenges. So there's a part of this that which is refining many of the tools that we have. There's another part which is like being covering more parts of the farm that so far are not covered, or I don't know, substantially improving some of the things that we already have, like for instance, like in animal health. Um, but also giving the producer a way to do more things that are related to their farm, not only with regards to the like digital management, but also things that are usually done outside of the app, like I don't know, getting insurance, or like risking, like managing risk, or selling cattle, or buying cattle, or I don't know, creating carbon credits. So there's a number of things that can be done when you begin to create a big ecosystem as a whole, and that's part of what we are working on right now. um, we every month we have a updates, and that became sort of our on a daily base, our bread and butter in terms of being able to constantly go and collect feedback, and just go on and fix when we make mistakes, which we make. But like what you can expect as a producer or as a member of the cattle community is we have many more um, functionalities coming up in every level that you can think of. And I think we expect that 2025 is going to be as fruitful as 2024, but more consolidating and things that are like bread and butter that we do every day that are more stable. Uh,
Right.
you can expect also like a lot, I don't know, a lot of the AI stuff coming up and being introduced in different parts of the app.
Right. And so just, how much do you enjoy the side of, having to handle, every country's, nuances in order to create, a better version of Cattler? Like, for instance, talking on a Monday with Bolivia, on a Tuesday with Paraguay, today talking with Brazil, setting up a new member, what are like what enjoyments do you find in being able to speak in maybe even four countries in one day trying to solve a problem that even though it may be related to one feed yard, you've found a way to hone it across five or six different countries.
Yeah, of course. In your question, there's an insight to how we do it. I think I just enjoy it so much because when you begin to I don't know, grow, there's a lot of things that begin to get connected between each other, and you begin to have like all these experiences of like speaking three languages in the same day and speaking with people that are in completely different latitudes or with different problems related to the same product. It's just so fun, and I think one of the reasons we're growing is that because we have fun doing what we're doing. We enjoy a lot of the process of creating the things, just making sense of it. There's an intellectual part of this that is incredibly challenging, and there's so many levels of people that we talk with, of problems, technical, non-technical, that everything gets in motion at the same time, and you're just diving through that, and just as and it's personally, it's an incredible experience.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And it's I think that it's one of those things that allows us to be also very nimble. I think if we're able to bring something that is done in, Paraguay or Bolivia, that then we see a use case for Canada or, or Brazil, that kind of, I think, is one of the stepping stones, that makes
Yeah,
it.
and then the other thing, the other big thing is and you tangentially mentioned it, is the team. Like we are a small group of people. We're less than 20 people, and this is a group of people that has matured over time, and we have very good quality people that we enjoy to work with every day. Everybody has a say, and this is just not a marketing. This is not a marketing thing. Is we really enjoy to have different insights. Putting a Uruguayan to speak with a Midwestern American, and there's just all these mixture of cultures. It creates with people that are like very good and very, I don't know, smart and from many different origins. I think that's part of the thing, because it's the thing that like is the way to work every day, and I don't know, this is part of why you get up every morning, is because you enjoy I don't know, shoulder to shoulder, sharing this challenge with a nice group of people.
Right. And also this year we're having our first kind of summit, so that's going to be fun as well in Lincoln, Nebraska. Probably the first of many, but being able to bring almost all the team up to the US will be a lot of fun as well. Being able to really, bring everybody together and really work on a lot of new aspects that we're working on in Cattler. So that brings me kind of to the next question, which is, what is the big picture vision for Cattler, and kind of what is the, you know, there is no end goal, but what is the next couple of years, or what is the next, you know, grand scheme look for you, or what are you envisioning as of today, March 2025? Because then we'll probably have different iterations along the way, but how do you see the next couple of years playing out?
So, first of all,
It's a loaded question, but it's kind of
yeah,
how do we.
there's many questions in your question, but first of all, yes, we are very excited about our very first meeting of like all company meeting happening in Nebraska, which by the way is a place where we have chosen to move our headquarters. Um, and we are very excited about that because we're trying to build a community there. We're trying to, I don't know, grow roots there. Um, and we have had like meetings in different occasions with parts of the team, but never like the team as a whole. And I think as a post-pandemic company, I think that's a big deal. Yeah, I am thinking about like your second part of the question because of this event as well, or because every day or every once in a while, like you get to think about this is we would really like to be the place or one of the places where everything uh in the production of beef and futurely dairy as well makes sense, gets connected, and things happen. And that's I would say like the longer vision. And there's different ways to get to that place. We really think that we have a way to interact with our community, with the producers, with all the vendors, with all the industries that are supporting this industry, and we really think we can become like the place with the place where things happen and get transparent and get in motion. I think that's part like I don't know, an overall idea, and this can grow much more. So yeah, we're very excited about that.
Awesome. I guess just to wrap things up, I think it was, just it was very important for us to start season two with you being able to kind of communicate what's coming down the pipeline and what we're doing and what we're all about. People getting also to really know a little bit more about you and who you are, where you come from, and how this whole vision got started. So kind of the last question that we always ask our members is, if you could talk to your younger self and give him any advice about this industry and the work you would be doing, what that would be. So what are your thoughts on that?
So yeah, I think um, every interview is an opportunity to show a little bit of what we are made of, and I don't know, you may notice that I'm personally a little bit like not that high profile. I'm very I don't know focused on the product, focus on the things that need to go right, and focus on building and just to getting to the goals. But I know that it's important for all the community that in one way or the other supports our company or is a customer of our company or is a partner of our company. I don't know, they need to know who we are, where do we come from. At the end of the day, this is a people's business. I think to your point, to your question, um, you might get this oftentimes, but I think there's two things that I would like to say to my younger self. One is start earlier, and the other one is nothing is what it looks like. Don't respect necessarily things because they seem established. Um, because nothing is what it looks like, and there's a ton of things that you can add value on more than what you think. So um, that's my main thing. Like, do not necessarily respect the status quo.
Excellent. Awesome. All right. That wraps it up for our season two opener of Cattler Conversations with Ignacio Albornoz, CEO and co-founder of Cattler. Thanks for the time. And that wraps it up. So thank you.
Thank you for the chance to be here. Thank you very much. Have
Bye.
a good day.